Okay, we're going to do a review of indices and rules of indices, starting with our first rule: a to the power m multiplied by a to the power m is a to the power m plus n. We call that rule 1 of indices. And then a second one, a to the power m divided by a to the power n is a to the power m minus n. So let's use these two rules with a few examples. X to the 4 multiplied by x to the 7, we'll add the powers and that will be x to the 11. 3x squared multiplied by 5x cubed. Well, 3 times 5 is normal is 15, but then I need to add the powers, so that's going to be 15x to the 5. Question 3. 2q squared multiplied by 4q to the 5 multiplied by 3q to the minus 3. So 2 times 4 is 8, times by 3 is 24, and I'm going to add the powers. 2 plus 5 is 7, and 7 plus minus 3 is 4, so that's 24q to the power 4. Okay, next one. Let's go for 3g to the minus 5 multiplied by g to the power 4. So that will be 3g to the minus 5 plus 4 is minus 1, and that's 3g to the minus 1. Example 4, x to the 11 divided by x to the 4. So subtract the powers using rule 2, and that's x to the 7. Example 5, t to the minus 4 divided by t to the minus 6. Well, minus 4 minus minus 6 is minus 4 plus 6. Minus 4 plus 6, that's 2, so that is t squared. That's rule 2 again. 8q to the 7 divided by 4q to the 5. Well, 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 7 taken away 5 is 2, so that's 2q squared. Example 7. 3p to the minus 4 divided by 6p to the minus 8. Well, 3 divided by 6, that's 1 half. Minus 4 minus minus 8 is minus 4 plus 8, and that's 4, so that's half q to the 4. Okay, so we can now combine the rules. Let's go for 3g to the power 4 multiplied by 8g to the 7 divided by g squared. Let's first of all take care of the top. 3 8s are 24. G to the 4 plus 7 is 11, so it's 24g to the 11 divided by g squared. And we can now do rule 2, so that will be 24g to the 11 take away 2 is 9, 24g to the 9. Okay, example 9. 9p to the 4 multiplied by 3p to the minus 3 divided by 27p to the 7. Okay, so 9 3s are 27. 4 plus minus 3 is 1, so that's 27p to the 1. I can just leave that as 27p divided by 27p to the 7. Well, the 27s will cancel out, and then I've got 1 up here, so that's 1 take away 7, that's p to the minus 6. Let's try example 10. 5x cubed bracket 3x squared plus 4x to the minus 7. Okay, so the term outside the bracket is multiplying the things inside the bracket, so that'll be 5x cubed multiplied by 3x squared plus 5x cubed multiplied by 4x to the minus 7. Okay, so 5 3s are 15, x to the, add the powers, 15x to the 5. 5 4s are 20, and 3 plus minus 7 is minus 4, 20x to the minus 4. Those are not like terms, so that's as simple as that can go, and that's the final answer. Okay, example 11. 4x to the 1/3 multiplied by 2x to the 1/5. Okay, so 4 times 2 is 8, and then I need to add the powers. So for adding the powers, let's just go across and do a kiss and smile. So that will be 5 plus 3 over 15, 8 over 15, 8x to the power 8 over 15, example 12. 20x to the 3/4 divided by 10x to the 2/5. Well, 20 divided by 10 is 2. We're dividing, so we're going to subtract the powers. So 3/4 minus 2/5. 3 5s are 15 minus 2 times 4 is 8 over 4 5s are 20. So that's 7 over 20. Final answer, 2x to the power 7 over 20. Okay, example 12. 3x to the 1/4 bracket 2x to the 2/3 plus x to the 3/4. So remember that the term outside the bracket is multiplying the terms inside the bracket. So that's going to be 3x to the 1/4 multiplied by 2x to the 2/3 plus 3x to the 1/4 multiplied by x to the 3/4. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6, and now I need to add the powers. So kiss and smile, 1/4 plus 2/3. So that will be 3 plus 8 over 12 is 11 over 12. So that's 6x to the 11/12. And then that's going to be 3, well, 1/4 plus 3/4. That's just 4/4. But I can definitely simplify that. So it'll be 6x to 11 over 12 plus, well, 4/4 is 1, so that's just 3x to the 1, which is 3x. And that's my final answer. Okay, let's now bring in a third rule, which is a to the power m brought to the power m is a to the power m times n. So for example, x cubed brought to the power 5, we would multiply the powers there, and that's x to the 15. Y to the power 4 brought to the power minus 3, multiply the powers, and that would be y to the minus 12, example 14. 3x to the power 5 brought to the power 2. So a mistake that people make at that time is to do 3 times 2, but it's not, it's definitely still 3 squared. 3 squared is 9, but it's the powers that I multiply. 5 times 2 is 10, 9x to the 10. Example 15, 4x to the minus 2 brought to the power 3. 4 cubed, well, 4 times 4 is 16, times that before is 64. Multiply the powers, minus 2 times 3 is minus 6, 64x to minus 6. Okay, example 16, let's combine some rules again. So 4x squared, all brought to the power 2, divided by 2x to the minus 3. So 4 squared is 16, multiply the powers, 2 times 2 is 4, so that's 16x to the 4, divided by 2x to the minus 3. 16 divided by 2 is 8, and then 4 minus 3 is 4 plus 3, that's 7, 8x to the power 7, example 17. 2x to the minus 3 brought to the power 4, divided by 4x to the minus 2. 2 to the power 4, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 16. Multiply the powers, minus 3 times 4 is minus 12, 16x to the minus 12, divided by 4x to the minus 2. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Minus 12 minus 2 is minus 12 plus 2. That's minus 10, 4x to the minus 10. Okay, example 18. We've got b to the minus 5 divided by 2b all squared. So that'll be b to the minus 5 divided by, well, the power there is 1. So 2 squared is 4, and 1 times 2 is 2. 4b to the 2. Okay, so minus 5 minus 2. The number up there is 1, so that is 1/4. Minus 5 minus 2 is minus 7. 1/4 b to the minus 7, example 19. We've get 3g cubed all squared divided by g to the 4 brought to the power minus 3. Okay, so let's do the top first of all. 3 squared is 9, and 2 times 3 is 6, that's 9g to the 6 divided by 4 times minus 3 is minus 12, so that's g to the minus 12. This is then row 2, so we're going to subtract the powers because we're dividing. 6 minus 12 is 6 plus 12, that's 18, 9g to the 18. Example 20, let's go for 5t multiplied by 2t cubed brought to the power 3 divided by 10t. Okay, so just a wee bit to sort out here. Let's take care of this bit. So 5t multiplied by 2 brought to the power 3 is 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And then 3 times 3 is 9, so that's 8t to the 9 divided by 10t. Okay, so 5 8s are 40. The number up there, even though you can't see it, is 1, so we're going to add them together since we're multiplying. That's 40t to the power 10 divided by 10t. Remember that the power here again is 1, even though we can't see it. Okay, so 40 divided by 10 is 4, and 10 take away 1 is 9, since we're dividing 4t to the power 9. Okay, example 21. Let's go for g to the 2/3 brought to the power 4 divided by g to the 1/3. Okay, so we're going to multiply the powers. So 2/3 times 4. 4 lots of 2/3 is 8/3, so that's g to the 8/3 divided by g to the 1/3. We're now going to subtract powers since we're dividing. 8/3 take away 1/3 is 7/3, g to the 7/3. Example 22. P to the 1/4 brought to the power 3 multiplied by 3p to the 1/5. Okay, so multiply the powers. 1/4 times 3 is 3/4, so that's p to 3/4 multiplied by 3p to the 1/5. Since we're multiplying, we're going to add the powers. 3/4 plus 1/5. So that'll be 15 plus 4 over 20, which is 19 over 20. Final answer then is 3p to the power 19 over 20. Okay, next couple of rules we're going to introduce is anything to the power 0 is equal to 1, and the square root of something is the same as the thing to the power 1/2. So a to the power 0 is 1, anything to the power 0 is 1, and the square root of a is 8.5. The square root of something is the thing to the power 1/2. Okay, so let's try some more examples. So let's simplify root a multiplied by a squared. Okay, first of all, let's write square root of a is a to the half, since that is the rule. Multiply by a squared. Okay, so we're going to add these together. So 1/2 plus 2, well, that's 2.5. If you think about 2.5 pizzas, then that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 halves. 5 over 2, and remember a quick way of getting that is 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5, and that's 5 over 2, and that is a to the power 5 over 2. Example 24. The square root of m multiplied by m to the 7. So that's m to the 1/2 multiplied by m to the 7. We're going to add the powers. 1/2 plus 7 is 7.5. I can then write that as 15 halves. Bring it back in, m to the 15 halves. Example 25. Let's this time go for t to the minus 4 multiplied by the square root of t. So it's t to the minus 4 multiplied by t to the half. So add the powers, minus 4 plus 1 half. Well, if you've got minus 4 and you add on 1 half, that's minus 3.5, which is minus 7 over 2, t to the minus 7 over 2. Okay, next couple of rules we're going to introduce is a to the power m over n can be written as the nth root of a brought to the power m. And also the a to the minus n can be written as 1 over a to the n. Let's try a few examples here. Okay, so example 6, we're going to write with a positive power, x to the minus 3. Well, that can be written as 1 over x cubed. Example 27, g to the minus 8 can be written as 1 over g to the 8. Example 28, 3t to the minus 6. Well, if I bring that back down, that's 3 over t to the power 6. Example 29, 9p to the minus 8. Bringing that back down, that can be written as 9 over p to the 8. Example 30, minus 50 q to the minus 6. Bring that back down, minus 50 over q to the positive 6. Example 31, 2/3 c to the minus 4. Bringing that back down beside the 3, that will be 2 over 3 to the power 2 over 3 c to the power 4. Example 32, 5/9 p to the minus 8. Bringing that back down, and that's going to be 5 over 9p to the power positive 8. Okay, example 33. We're going to simplify the 4th root of x cubed. So remember that we're going to use this rule. Okay, so that power goes down bottom, that power goes up top. So that will be x to the power 3 over 4. Example 34. We're going to look at the 5th root of x to the 7. So that power down bottom, that power up top, x to the power 7 over 5. Equation 35. And we're going to go for the 4th root of q brought to the power 7. So that number down bottom, that number up top, q to the power 7 over 4. Okay, example 36. Let's simplify d to the minus 3 multiplied by the cube root of d squared. Okay, so that's d to the minus 3 multiplied by, so remember the power, a to the power m over n is equal to the nth root of a to the power m. So I can now convert that to d to the 2/3. I'm then adding these powers together. So I've got minus 3 plus 2/3. Well, I can think about that as minus 9/3 plus 2/3, which is minus 7/3. D to the minus 7 over 3. Example 37. F to the 5 multiplied by the 4th root of f cubed. So that's f to the 5 multiplied by f to the 3 over 4. I'm going to add these. So 5 plus 3/4 is 5 3/4. And that will give me 23/4. F to the 23/4. Okay, example 38. We've got 6a cubed multiplied by 3 root a. Okay, so that's 6a cubed multiplied by 3a to the 1/2. 6 3s are 18. and I'm going to add the powers. 3 plus 1/2 is 3.5. That's 7 over 2, so that's 18a to the 7 over 2. Okay, example 39. 4t cubed bracket 3t squared plus 1 over t squared. Okay, so let's first of all use this rule to tidy this up. So I can now write that as 4t cubed bracket 3t squared plus, well, 1 over t squared can be written as t to the minus 2. Remember that the thing outside the bracket is multiplying the things inside the bracket. So that's 4t cubed multiplied by 3t squared plus 4t cubed multiplied by t to the minus 2. Okay, so 4 3s are 12. Add the powers, 3 plus 2 is 5, 12t to the 5. Plus 4, and add the powers, 3 plus minus 2 is 3 minus 2, that's 1. 4t to the 1, I can just leave that as 4t. Final answer 12t to the 5 plus 4t. Okay, example 40. 3g squared bracket 2g plus 1 over the square root of g. So let's just take our time. That will be 3g squared bracket 2g plus 1 over g to the 1/2. I can now use this rule. So I've used that rule to get to the second line. I'm now going to use this rule. 3g squared bracket 2g plus g to the minus 1/2. So it's 3g squared multiplied by 2g plus 3g squared multiplied by g to the minus 1/2. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6. G to the, well, the power here is 1, so 2 plus 1 is 3, 6g cubed plus 3, and then I'm adding together 2 and minus 1/2. So 2 pizzas take away half a pizza, that's 1/2 pizzas, and that can be written as 3 over 2, 3g to the 3 over 2. Okay, example 41. We're again going to use this rule, which can be written like that, or like that, which is a to the power m over n is equal to the nth root of a brought to the power m. Okay, so let's start with a to the power 2/3. Okay, so the denominator goes there, the numerator goes there, so that can now be written as the cube root of 8 all squared. So it's using that form of the rule. Now the cube root of 8, so that's 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. Cube root of 8 is 2, but then I still need to square that. 2 squared, and that's 4. Let's try another one of those. Example 42. 16 to the power 3/4. So that's the 4th root of 16 brought to the power 3. The 4th root of 16 is 2. Since 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 16. And then I need to cube that. 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2, that's 8. Example 43. 27 to the power 2/3. Okay, so that's the cube root of 27 squared. Cube root of 27 is 3, since 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to 27. So it's then 3 squared, which is 9. Example 44. 1000 to the power 4/3. So that is the cube root of 1000 brought to the power 4. Cube root of 1000 is 10, since 10 times 10 times 10 is 1000. And 10 brought to the power 4, that's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, and that is 10,000. Example 45. This time we're going to go for 9 to the power 3/2. So that is the square root of 9 cubed. Square root of 9 is 3. Since 3 times 3 is 9, 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, and that's 27. Example 46. 81 to the power 1/4. Well, that's the fourth root of 81 brought to the power 1. The fourth root of 81, just take your time with that, that's 3. Because 3 times 3 is 9, times by 3 is 27, times by 3 is 81. 3 to the power 1 is equal to 3. Example 47. Let's this time go for 16 to the 1/4. So that's the fourth root of 16 brought to the power 1. Fourth root of 16 is 2, since 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 16. So that's 2 brought to the power 1, and that is equal to 2. Example 48. 32 to the power 1/5. So that's the fifth root of 32 brought to the power 1. The fifth root of 32 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. 2 brought to the power 1 is 2. Example 49. 32 to the power 3/5. Well, that's the fifth root of 32 brought to the power 3. The fifth root of 32 is 2 again, so 2 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2, and that's 8. Example 50. 8 to the power 5/3. So that's the cube root of 8 brought to the power 5. Cube root of 8 is 2, since 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. 2 to the power 5, take your time with that. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 32. Example 51, evaluate 4 to the minus 2. Well, first of all, using that rule, we can say that that's 1/4 squared. 4 squared is 16, 1/16. Example 52, evaluate 3 to the minus 2. So it's 1/3 to the 2, 1/3 squared, and that's 9. Example 53. Let's this time go for 5 to the minus 3. That's 1/5 cubed. 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, times that by 5 is 125. It's 125. Example 54. 4 to the minus 3. That's 1/4 cubed. 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4. That's 4 times 4 is 16, times by 4 is 64. 1/64. Example 55. 3 to the minus 3 is 1/3 cubed. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, that's 27. 1/27. Example 56. This time let's go for 9 to the minus 3/2. Well, I can put it in as 1/9 to the 3/2. Let's now just go to the side and work this out. That's the square root of 9 all cubed. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 cubed. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Bring that back in, that's 1/27. Let's take down example 57. Evaluate 16 to the minus 1/4. Well, that's 1/16 to the positive 1/4. Let's establish that. So that's the fourth root of 16 brought to the power 1. Fourth root of 16 is 2. 2 to the power 1 is 2. Bring that back in, and that is 1/2. Example 58. This time let's go for 25 to the minus 3 over 2. So that's 1 over 25 to the power 3 over 2. Okay, so 25 to the power 3 over 2 is the square root of 25 brought to 3. Square root of 25 is 5. 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5, that's 125. Let's bring that back in. 1 over 125. Example 59. Evaluate 100 to the minus 3 over 2. So that's 100, 1 over 100 to the positive 3 over 2. Let's establish what 100 to 3 over 2 is. That is the square root of 100, all cubed. Square root of 100 is 10. 10 cubed is 1000. 10 times 10 times 10. Bring that back in. 1 over 1000. Example 60. 32 to the power minus 4 over 5. So that's 1 over 32 to the power 4 over 5. Let's work that out. So 32 to the power 4 over 5 is the same as the fifth root of 32 brought to the power 4. Fifth root of 32 is 2, since 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 equals 32. 2 brought to the power 4 is 16, since 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 16. Bring that back in, and that is 1 over 16.